So, welcome back to another episode of Self-Development with Tactics podcast. Today we're gonna go through some Reddit questions. It's probably gonna be it's gonna be Stoicism related. Because there are always just some really amazing questions, and I know therefore also answers quite often, not always. So here we go. Not all the money in the world could buy one last day with those that have passed. Beware on how you spend your time. Last Thursday, my dog of almost 13 years died in a sudden cardiorespiratory stop. She was the soul of our house, a creature so pure and happy. I have lost dogs before and people as well, but this struck me like a brick to the head. I wonder if she knew how much we loved her, how much we cared about her all this time, if she could rationalize this. What I just want to say is, yes, this is indeed the case. You cannot buy time in general. Whether it is with your loved ones or your time in general, you just cannot do that, period. And be aware of that. Keep that in mind and think about it. In the end, it's not possible. And in the end, one should really think about the time one spends and on what someone spends time. Period. I would say. Some things might be useful or seem to be useful in the very beginning, and they turn out not to be that, and this is fine. It is what it is. We cannot decide beforehand. We cannot know beforehand, as simple as it is. It is also about not judging oneself. Like, okay, I may not have spent enough time with X, Y, and Z, but I can't do anything about this. Time already passed. Things have already passed. It is what it is. Period. Stoicism is a great philosophy for learning how to sleep. There are things that you can do to influence the quality of your sleep. Having a fixed schedule, no screens an hour before bed, eating a few hours before going to sleep, proper temperature in the room, exercise, go to the doctor to check if you have medical conditions that impedes sleep, etc. We all more or less know the drill, but the interesting thing that comes in with recognizing that we lack control of falling asleep itself, the more you try to fall asleep, the less likely you will. It is about letting go, trusting that your body knows how to sleep on its own, accepting that thoughts, emotions, sensations are coming and going. And if you do not sleep, despite feeling like crap, not adding extra worry about how this is going to affect your life, you do have some control over your response to it. I've had some extended periods of time where I really had a hard time sleeping in. Sleeping through was okay, but sleeping in was like a task. And every single day before going to bed, I was actually kind of worried. Am I going to fall asleep today? Am I going to be able to fall asleep today? Some days it went pretty well, and some days it went really horrible. And yeah, there are some things you can do. And there are also some studies that say do this, do that, and do the other thing to have the best sleep, have better sleep, and so on and so forth. But in the end, you cannot control it to 100%. There is always going to be some percentage of some things we might even not know about yet. Period. Or we might just not know because it is in our head. And being like, okay, stop thinking, it's not gonna let you stop thinking. In the end, you're gonna think anyway. And many more of these things. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We can't change it. We just have to go through it and maybe even make the experience as good as we can make it. Okay, I can't sleep in today very well, so I'm having a bit more time to think about this and or that and or the other thing, or I have some fantasies. I can think about, I don't know, having my crush on my side, or whatever people are thinking about or dreaming about, having this car, having this house, having this job, maybe even planning a bit. You might actually fall asleep doing so might be a win-win, but yeah. I'm gonna skip that. So there's some controversy there, so I don't necessarily think that, I don't know, like, of course, controversy and difficult life situations and whatnot, they can indeed really help other people. I mean, if I'm spreading the awareness of whatever, other people might be like, okay, I'm just going through the same thing as well. And then period. It's what it is. Effects of pleasure on state of mind. Last weekend I went with my girlfriend to a club. I drank a lot of beer and smoked a lot of cigarette. I'm not a regular drinker or smoker. I had a lot of sex that night. It is safe to say the night was full of pleasure on all sides. Ever since that night, it feels hard to practice Stoicism. The apatheia has been broken down. I'm experiencing more thoughts of low self-worth, insecurity, greed, envy, desire. I'm suffering from a mild form of retroactive jealousy. Google it. In regards to my relationship with my girlfriend, I'm working on it, but the feelings of retroactive jealousy flare up along with the above-mentioned feelings. However, I'm using the power of dissent to such emotions, but there was time where I wasn't even feeling them in the first place and was easy to be virtuous, compassionate, etc. Have yet to learn more about eupathia. I'm waiting for the probably and hopefully transient wave of low, result of the weekend of my high, to pass away. I will take care, however, this weekend because I know I will be tempted again to repeat such behaviors. I will not quit cold turkey since it has the chances of backfiring, but will downgrade to a quiet evening over dinner with my girlfriend. I feel like the virtue of temperance has to take place right now since this weekend outing with such pleasure was my second in a row. I don't feel such emotions when on outing doing blah 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 blah. So this is, and I mean, I think we all have seen it, and there might also be some scientific term and whatnot. After a night of drinking, which it really depends on the situation. It really depends on what you've been doing and whatnot. But most often, it's accompanied by a lot of fun and by a lot of whatever, loving, just talking shit, the full set. Like most often, the day after, whether it is due to the alcohol or whether it is due to something else, I do just also feel really shitty. For whatever reason, I don't really know. It might actually be about dopamine, being released, kind of all of my dopamine the night before. There's nothing quite less left out. And, it might also be due to the alcohol. I don't really know. But it is something that I have noticed. It is something that I have seen. It also depends on my situation, like what I've did the next day, what I've done the day before, what the day itself was like, and there are many variables, but in the end, I think, what could you do about that? Not have that much fun. I mean, you could drink less, but I don't know. I think drinking in itself, it is really bad, for your body. But in terms of having a great time with people, which, I do not want to say that you cannot have a great time without drinking or doing other drugs. That's definitely not the case. But I think it is okay from time to time. You just really have to watch your mood, watch your body, and make sure that you are not feeling horrible, and do whatever you can do, I wouldn't say, take some medication after drinking so the next day is going to be a better day. I don't know if this is sensical. Of course, the day afterwards is maybe going to be a bit of a drag. Working is not going to be that great. Yada, 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 the full thing. But once again, it's what it is. There's always going to be consequences to one's actions. And most often when I'm doing X, there is inevitably going to be Y. And that's it. Also with this episode. So, gonna see you the next time. I at least hope. Wish you the best and see you soon.